It's not storytelling. They are numerical figures. So you're just supposed to take us to the table. Tell us on the on this particular query, the variance was this much. That is why we have this attachment that relates 144 million. These are the ledgers to this specific item on the table. If it is not there, just leave it so that we're able to move.
Because, you know, Governor, this thing should be so simple. You've got an expenditure like fuel, oil, and lubricants. You have bought fuel. You've got fuel registers, whatever cards that you're using. You have reported 78 million, but your supporting schedules is 76 million. There's a variance of 1.7 million. What you should be telling us is that variance of 1.7 million is these are the receipts that were excluded. You know, it's as simple as that. It's not you don't need to be a professional accountant to resolve this matter.
I hear you, Chair. I hear you. We have got to find out from these accounting documents that they have produced where the schedules supporting the difference between the stated figure and what is on the schedule.
And you have submitted something to the Auditor General, which the Auditor General has told us does not close the differences. They just confirm the differences, like rental of produced assets, which you have just looked at. The variance of 531,000 still exists. And so your financial statements do not tie with IFMIS, they don't tie with supporting schedules. So what is the source of truth in Baringo? Which other data warehouse are you using, if not invoices and receipts, if not IFMIS?
Chairman, what is in the invoices and receipts should actually tally with the statements that have been provided. It's unfortunate that they are not tallying. We'll have to get them to be scrutinized more, and we'll have to work with the Auditor General to be able to ensure that they have closed that gap. If there is no closing of the gap, then my people have got to give an explanation.
Unfortunately, Governor, we have from experience, whenever we open that window, people go and manufacture invoices, committing further offenses to cover up another offense. And that's why we'll be very hesitant to provide a window.
Maybe, Chair, because I have not finished on this 13. So then, even if these ledgers do not relate to 1.2, now that it has found its way to the Senate, is it then your submission that Baringo County Executive spent 144 million to pay for per diems and travel for COVID-19 only? This one is for a very specific expenditure on COVID. 144 million. The monies that came to deal with the COVID problem, you spent 140 million for accommodation and travel. Is that statement accurate?
Let me ask the CEO to answer that.
Chair, I recall very well during our last engagement with the auditors, we looked at this document and it was supporting the query. I remember we highlighted what the changes, the movement in from one line to another one, and
maybe you didn't get my question. It has nothing to do with the Auditor General. It's an observation that I made out of the document that you have brought to us. Yes. Is it your submission that 144 million relates to accommodation and travel in relation to one specific item, COVID-19?
Okay, Chair, the problem here is that we have provided a summary, but we have the details.
Yes,
that's why I'm saying
this summary
yes,
is of details of payment of 102 million for per diem and travel. Not any other thing. Not construction of hospital, not construction of anything. It is for per diem and travel.
As indicated in this document, Chair.
That is the truth.
It is not for You've seen it is indicated recurrent account. That is an expenditure from recurrent.
Do you, Chair?
No, just allow me.
Your answer is just supposed to be yes or no.
Just allow me.
Because this is a document that does not speak to the audit query.
Does not speak to the audit query. So I mean that's why I thought it would be a very easy question. You'd say that we spent 144 million for travel and domestic subsistence allowance. Was that your comment?
No.
So what is the source of truth? What does this 144 million relate to? Because you have written summary domestic travel and accommodation. You have just said it's a summary. You have the details. Why do these people really take for?
Yeah. You know, Governor, I'm getting to a point where I'll have to be making a determination on whether we're ready for this exercise. Because if every query, this is a second query, and even if you go to the third one on cash and cash equivalents, we still have the same problem. I think, Senator Methu, unless the entity has a response, but whatever has been attached as an Annex 2 is completely irrelevant to the question that has been raised and does not address it in any way. OAG, Patrick.
Thank you, Chair. I think just to add on what you've said, when you look at the documents attached in that Annex 2, especially on page 11, 12, and 13, those papers are not headed, so you cannot even know whether they belong to Baringo County or any other entity.
Yeah, and then for the consumption of the Senate, you're telling us that the records were so voluminous, you could not provide them. But why do you think the Constitution required you to come to the Senate? This is a constitutional exercise. So you cannot say that I've already showed it to the auditor, now the Senate does not need to see it. But even if you showed it to the auditor has confirmed that the variances still exist. So this is voodoo reporting in Baringo. It is not based on anything. It is not based on IFMIS, not based on invoices and vouchers and supporting documents. You report what you feel like reporting. You spend and report later. You shoot and aim later. That is your practice in financial management. And it has been prevalent for 3 financial years. And that's why we are thinking this bus must be stopped for service. Senator Mariam Omar, finally on this, then we look at 1.3 and treat them
Chair,
together.
Chair, I can see, Governor. Let me ask, have you sit down with your technical people to see this response, these annexes and whatever?
Yes, Senator, through the chair, we sat down and I asked whether this has been cleared with the Auditor General, and every time they have told me that this is cleared, and I thought that would be the correct situation.
Chair, to where I'm sitting, because the governor is not honest, because if at all you have sat with your technical teams and you have seen these anomalies, that means you are not serious. There's no seriousness in this government, in this Baringo County. Chair, to my opinion, if we have seen the first questions and the second one is this, if you go to the third one and there's no seriousness like this, there's no need of proceeding, Chair. Because if the CEO can ask his technical team, answer the question and they cannot, and that means they have drafted and just dump it on Senate to see. Chair.
Let's look at 1.3. See whether there's any hope, whether we are going to get any assurance.
1.3, Chair. Statement of cash flows reflect the cash and the cash equivalent at the end of the year amounting to Kenya shillings 2,216,347,098, which differs with the cash and the cash equivalent balance of 2,285,478,613 shown in the statement of assets and liabilities, resulting to an reconciled variance of 69,131,515. Further, the statement of cash flows reflect a nil balance for the net change in accounts receivable and payables, while the statement of assets and liabilities reflect a net increase in the account receivables and account payables amounting to Kenya shillings 1,647,196 and Kenya shillings 1,798,117 respectively, resulting to net cash flow of 150,921. Consequently, the accuracy and completeness of the statement of cash flow as presented and the cash and cash equivalent balance of 2,285,478,613 could not be confirmed. Chair.
Governor.
The Chair, the variance was due to omission of decrease/increase in account receivables and increase/decrease in accounts payables in notes numbers 26 and 27 respectively in the financial statements. The error has been noted and will be corrected in this year's in the financial year 2023-2024.
Auditor General.
The variance still exists, Chair. It was not amended.
Is this a professional? Let's assume first of all that it was an error, as you have said. Is it a professional error?
Yes, I think, Mr. Chair. But let me ask the accountants to also say it.
Sorry, Chair. I think this was a professional error, an omission in
Who takes responsibility?
It's us, the accountants.
Who takes responsibility? Who are the signatories to these financial statements?
It's me and Chief Officer.
Just state your name for record for the Hansard.
It's David Rimoy and Kikono Kipto.
So you are the ones who take responsibility for this?
Yes.
Assuming it was a professional error. Now let's go back to what the public might think it was, theft. Auditor General, what are cash and cash equivalents?
Cash and cash equivalent, Chair, it is found in the financial statement, page 3. That is the statement of assets and liabilities. It is part of cash in bank, cash in hand, and also the interest, outstanding interest that accounted to cash and bank.
So was it overstated or understated?
Chair, the one that is in the statement of cash as assets, it is 22.285, but in the statement of cash flow, it is understated by that difference. It's understated in the statement of cash flow.
So if there is that, then you cannot really tell that the 2.2 billion was a cash and cash equivalent.
We cannot confirm the accuracy of that figure. Because
so cash and cash equivalents, like he said, for that woman selling goats in Baringo, is what? Money at hand, money in the bank.
Yes.
Should there ever be any doubt about that?
No.
It will be consistent.
Consistent.
And the professional explanation that they are given, an omission of decrease in account receivables and increase in accounts payables. Governor, is this really a professional error? Or is it an attempt to mask theft?
I'm not very sure that it's an attempt to mask theft. I would imagine that it shouldn't be an attempt to mask debt by professionals. Professionals should never ever attempt to mask theft. and they have stated exactly what I have read, unless it's otherwise.
Senator Maria Muma.
Chair, on the answer to that query, there has been noted and will be corrected in 2023-2024. David, if at all you have realized there is an omission and there is an error, 2021, why have you not corrected in 2022 and 2023? Why are you taking to 2024?
Chair, we realize that there's the occurrence of the error. It's the continuousness of the error.
Chair, that's wrong, because this thing is normally the auditor raised the question during exit meeting, because this query is in management reports, management report of 2021. So when you realize it is after 14 days exit of audit. So if you cannot correct that financial year because the audit report is out, you will have to take this card forward to 2022. So why is it taking 2 years? And up to now it has not been corrected. There is a professional account.
Chair, as I said, this is an error that it reoccurred for 3 years, and it's last in the month of when we were sitting down with the auditors that we traced that this is an error that has been, it's caused by an increase and a decrease in increase in payables and receivables. That is impressed. And
no, you are not dealing with the senator's question. That this matter was in the management letter, wasn't it?
Yes. Chair.
And at that point, you had an opportunity to make the adjustments that were required.
Yes, Chair.
And they should have affected 2021-2022, not 2023-2024.
Yes.
So the senator is asking about, and I think we now need to understand how this audit was carried out. OAG, was there an entry? Was there an exit? Was there a management letter? Was there cooperation from the county during the time of audit?
All those audit procedures they are provided under the Public Audit Act were performed. We had an entry meeting. We had audit queries which were being raised as the audit was going on. We had an exit meeting where all these issues were. We also had a draft that we had to give out the final certificate. So the whole process. Steps were taken.
And the players who are involved in preparing these financial statements are the ones sitting to the left and right of the governor.
Yes, they were.
So there is no excuse that this was done by another team. Senator Onyonka.
Which then, Chair, through you, the gentleman sitting to the left of the governor, what's your title in the county?
I'm the Deputy Director, Treasury and Accounting Service, or Head of Accounts.
Are you a member of the, which professional organization you belong to?
Yes, Chair, I am.
Yes?
I'm the Chair. I am Chair. I am a member of ISPAC.
Thank you. If you are, were you in the meeting in Mombasa when we attended about a month ago?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't there.
I understand. If you had attended, you would not be behaving the way you are. If you listen to each and every question we are asking you, everything, and you got 43 of these things which have not been done, I'm actually supporting Madam Mariam and my colleagues. What do we do with your county? Because you're talking about 147 million shillings, which again has been spent for impress, which again, you don't have documents. You're telling us yourself, you have sat with the Auditor General, they have told you what to go and do to sort out the problem. You've come back, you've not sorted out the problem. Who, again, second time I'm asking this question, who do you think now do I believe between you and the Auditor General?
Chair is the auditor.
Is the auditor, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Auditor?
We when one is preparing the financial statements, there is a question of balancing the accounts. This is one of the areas that you obviously have to look at to ensure that the figure of cash and the bank you have reflected in the statement balance sheet is just the same as the one in the cash flow. So if they have not balanced, then those accounts have not balanced yet, even if you submit them.
And Governor, these financial statements were signed by David Rerimoi and CPA Jane Barus. Is Jane Barus still in the county?
No, Mr. Chairman.
That was the chief officer?
Then, in 2021.
Chief officer, finance.
Yes.
And is a member of ISPAC. So I think Clerk, Jane Barus, David Rerimoi, all these, we must add them to our list of shame that must be disciplined by the professional body alongside CPA Gikono Kipto. You now see the frustration we are having in terms of small things that do not need to get to the level that they've gotten to if there is due care on the part of the officials. Let's look at 1.4, because all these are under the subheading of inaccuracies in the financial statements.
1.4, variance between the statement of appropriation, recurrent and development combined, and the budget execution by programs and sub-programs. The statement of appropriation, recurrent and development combined, reflect the budgeted and actual expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 7,912,538,919 and the Kenya shillings 55,383,581,585 respectively, while the statement of budget execution by program and sub-programs reflect the budgeted and actual expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 7,808,851,694 and the Kenya shillings 5,482,818,692 respectively. The variance of Kenya shillings 31,687,225 and the Kenya shillings 99,237,107 for the budgeted and actual expenditures were not reconciled. Chair.
Governor, what's your response?
Thank you, Chair. I think this is, according to them, is still a matter of reconciliation between IFMIS and the manual.
Just read your written response.
The budgeted figure, the budgeted figure of 7,912,538 and 919 covers both the county executive and the county assembly. The balance of 30 million and 99 million resulted from unaccounted for and unposted transactions in IFMIS. After the partial IFMIS auto-reconciliation, the statement of budget execution programs and sub-programs supports the budget in financial year under review as per IFMIS system extracts attached. And I think there is an attachment for the IFMIS. Maybe they have to provide it.
Still, the figures have not been reconciled. They're still outstanding.
So what does Annex 3 try to illustrate, Governor? What is the purpose of Annex 3?
Can you explain? With your permission, let me ask him to explain that.
Annex 3 is all about is all about the 7.9 that but besides that, let me clarify something about this issue of IFMIS of reconciliation. During the course of last financial year, we did a reconciliation and we realized that there are still some transactions we were able to clear. In the process, we realized also that we have transactions from the county assembly and we couldn't correct those transactions. That means all the variances we're seeing here in financial statements, it's all about the issue of IFMIS.
Excuse me, Chair.
Senator,
You're saying that you took the money and you saw the transactions were for the county assembly.
No, I'm saying, as we do the auto-reconciliation with IFMIS, Chair, you know we are sharing as one government, Baringo County government. And in that process of doing the reconciliation, we have transactions in that system relating to the county assembly. But we correct everything for the county executive. And I want to assure this committee that come this financial year, the last financial year, we want to come for it. I'm sure these errors or variances will not be there.
so now you are saying if this works.
Yes,
And on issue number 1, you said if Mr. Work, you are still complaining.
I'm sure.
You need to be consistent and don't take these gentlemen, in as much as we are politicians, we are fools. You are speaking to a committee which has, even if I was the less of them, but we have Umtata here. Be very careful.
Okay.
Be very, very careful. You cannot on 1.1 give us letters that Treasury is frustrating you over IFMIS, and now to hide up irregular expenditure, you are concocting a story to go to IFMIS. You might be the president of the nation. So be very careful what you say. Governor, you have taken oath, and I've noticed that your officers have spoken 90% of the time. Do you put them off?
No, I'm the officer accountable, so I take responsibility, Mr. Chair.
Then we shall redirect the question to you. Otherwise, we put those officers on oath, because lying under oath is an offense. Under the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, misleading the committee is an offense. But lying under oath is perjury, which is an offense that is recognizable worldwide. And I'm struggling to understand what the officers are saying, because on this they are saying they have done auto-reconciliation in IFMIS. And on the very, very important issue of expenditure, they have submitted that IFMIS is broken and that you are still looking for capacity building. The importance of budget is what has led to this revolution we are having in this country today. Budget is authority given by the people to spend, because a budget is subjected to public participation. What we have here, now you need to tell us, what budget did the people of Baringo approve? Was it 7.9 billion or 7.8 billion? Let's start from there, because that's what this query is all about.
Chairman, the people of Baringo County approved a budget of 7.9 billion, 7,912,538,919.
And when you reported under your statement of budget execution by programs and sub-programs, you reflected an approved budget of 7.8 billion. How did it move from 7.9 to 7.8 billion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not a day-to-day implementer of the IFMIS and accounting programs.
It's not IFMIS, this one is not IFMIS. You took public participation sessions to the villages, you met people under trees in churches and schools and told them that we are going to spend 7.9 billion.
That we spent 77.
And then here you have reported 7.8 billion. And we have this problem, and Senator Nyonka, you have seen it, where governors get authority to spend, then along the way they reorganize things and put money in the governor's office, put money in activities that are not. The young people are telling us that when we have a budget, we must remain faithful to it, because that budget is financed by our taxes. It is not from money from heaven, it is taxes, hard-earned taxes of Kenyans that finance that budget. So there should never be any doubt, which then leads you to setting up special task forces to review things that do not need review. No, that's a problem you're having in the national space.
Through you, Chair,
Senator Nyonka.
I want to ask the accountant, if you receive a variance, how could you explain it? What do you think was the purpose? The reason I'm asking you, if you go to 23, Chair, our normal issue that we've recently found if a county government is having variances and diverting funds, the next thing you see, tons and tons of voided payments through IFMIS. You have about 400 million shillings which you voided. I can refer you to page 15. Page 15 of your report, the Auditor General's report 30th June 2023. Because if you understand how the IFMIS system doesn't work at one time, then the second time it works, then next you begin to see how their variances, money is not being accounted for. The next thing you see, 400 million voided payments. In other words, you stopped IFMIS from transmitting money to the people who legitimately were supposed to be paid, and you then inserted different. In fact, I should ask the OAG to help you understand what I'm saying.
Chair, I understand. Sorry, I don't have the report here with me, so I need to check the report so that I see what they're saying.
What are you saying, officer?
I don't have the report here with me. I need to check the report.
First of all, Auditor General, or maybe Governor, who signed your statement of your budget execution by programs and sub-programs? You have the statement there. Who signed it?
There are 3 officers, Chair.
Who signed it?
3 officers. That is Francis Karimi.
Are we looking at the same thing? Because I'm looking at the signatures on page 17. The Auditor General is comparing 2 statements. Budget execution, there's one on budget execution by programs and sub-programs, which comes to an end on page 17. Is that one of them? So who are those who signed it? Look at page 17 of your financial statements.
Chair, it's David Rimoy who has signed.
Or how do I tell that it is David?
Okay. Sorry, I can.
Assuming we had said we are taking written responses and we are reviewing this to write a report, how will I tell who signed this? Now, there's supposed to be a reviewer and an approver.
Yes.
For control purposes.
Yes, Chair.
Who was the reviewer?
Sorry, the reviewer, Chair, didn't sign.
So there was no reviewer, there was only an approver.
I'm the approver. It's only that I didn't write my name.
So what is the essence? Because this is in the template provided by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, isn't it? It needs to be reviewed and approved.
Yes, Chair.
So when the Auditor General raised this, because the problem is that now the governor is disowning whatever you approved. Because I've asked the governor, what was your approved budget? And governor, you have said approved budget was 7.9 billion. But this report has a budget of 7.88 billion. And that's what the general is asking. That's what he had in his management letter. That's what he had in his draft report. He's making reference to 2 very important statements. One is properly executed. The other one was done as an afterthought. Auditor General, what is the value of this statement on budget execution? substitution by programs and sub-programs. Is it a nuisance, or it's very, very important to have it in the financial statements?
It's very important because it's the one with the details. The first one was a combined of development and the current, but it goes further to separate the current, development, and then by programs, the budget by programs, and there should be the same figures.
So, Governor, I believe these are things you understand very well. What authority did the people give on expenditure and budget in that year? And why are we having two different figures in the same set of financial statements?
The persons who signed this, Mr. Chairman, is my officer on the left. The only thing that I'm also seeing, just like you are seeing, is the issue of the approver signing without the other party. And maybe can also...
That's not the biggest crime.
Yes.
The issue is what the Auditor General has raised. 7.8 versus 7.9. Because you have signed off and you are having 7.8 as your approved budget. You are saying the authority you had from the people of Baringo was 7.9. Do you have the power to vary the budgets without going through the assembly?
No.
So all the issues from 1.1 to 1.4, I think just paints the picture of the state of financial management in Baringo County. And Governor, you want to solve the problem using the people who caused the problem. How does that work? You have wide experience in management. Which particular theory of management is that?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's embarrassing to have people who cannot be able to account for the funds that they're given. And I am sorry about this.
You have not addressed, Governor, sometimes I can learn from you. You are CEO when I was in campus.
Yes.
So I'm asking, which theory of management are you applying in this case?
Mr. Chairman, mistakes have happened, and we have to own to it and correct it.
But in the people bring you back to correct the mistakes.
Yes.
And so far, the results? An adverse opinion?
Again, Chairman, this adverse opinion is regretted. And I feel bad because even this document that was signed by him was not, he was signing as an approver, and there was an officer who was supposed to sign before him. So it's unfortunate.
Members, we have two options: to go through this and not everything as unresolved. Everything else that because everything the Auditor General has said is unresolved remains unresolved. And I think also, if we go through this exercise in this manner, where we have gone through 4 issues, and all of them are indicative of either theft or professional negligence, I'm afraid there could be a riot around this parliament. Those people following these proceedings online might decide to pay us a visit when they see the kind of mess that is going on in Baringo. And part of it is because of the laziness of your responses. The responses are not talking to the issues. And I still think that you can do better by referring to the responses rather than looking for blame in the form of EVs and Treasury and other parties. But we are determined to go through this exercise. So members, do we continue with the extraction of, so that we can highlight the problem? Because all the 4 issues you dealt with, they are clearly unaddressed.
This is just an overview because I gave my opinion to the governor that
though you are the only person who is on both, maybe the team around you is not of very much help. I would like to know what percentage is your budget absorption in terms of development? Chair, for this. And if you don't know, maybe the COB and the OAG can assist. What I have seen in for this financial year, that is ending June, our absorption is quite reasonable, but I don't know what the COB has. But we definitely, I can say without batting an eyelid that we are doing very well this financial year in terms of absorption. Maybe well over 70%. As the last that we have.
COB, do you have
for development?
Yeah, from the report for 9 months, that is too much. We do not have the one up to June yet. We have not published, but as at 9 months, the development absorption was at 18%. So I don't know if you have attained the other bit of up to 100 in June, but as at 9 months it was at 18, which is very low.
Mr. Chairman, we shall be able to provide records of everything that we have done. Of course, we have a challenge by, is it May? We had not received funds for 3 months prior to CC Finance and Governance. Sorry, through the chair. CC Finance? Oh, that is the CC Finance. So the absorption is 18%.
Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as at March, but as at May, we are over 60%. Yes.
Will that be viable?
As at May, we are at 60%, over 60%.
Senator Mofaya, from the past 1 hour, I've come to the conclusion that I will only believe the figures that have been verified by the Auditor General and Control of Budget, because there seems to be different sets of truth. Their truth and the OAG's truth.
So what is the truth? In this case, Chair, through the OAG.
We have not looked at those figures. Maybe I can look at it and submit to the committee.
Senator, now that you have put it to the members to give our opinion on what should be the best way to proceed, honestly, I'm of the opinion that we do not expect to get anything much, either from the governor or the team that he has come with. I'm sure the governor is sharing this frustration. That is the reason why you also say that you actually do not feel that your team has done a good job. So I would be of this opinion. Maybe we could test one more thing out of the many that has been flagged by the Auditor General, so that they could also form guidance of what exactly is expected of the team, either by the Auditor General and even our own selves. Because, I mean, there's no point of going through 43 issues and we are just getting the same responses. We are sorry, technical negligence, issues to do with incompetence. I think it will beat the team more than. I'm of the opinion that the governor and his team have received enough guidance on exactly what is expected of them. So maybe, Chair, if you could get 1 or 2 more issues that we could test on the preparedness of the county, so then we could take the other matters on the written responses that we already have.
We will then look at some of the issues on revenue, because in this financial year, the on-source revenue was not prepared separately. It was included in the main. You didn't have to do an ROR report that year. But how are we concluding the inaccuracy in the financial statements? Auditor General, just above that basis for adverse opinion, there's a paragraph that starts with "in my opinion." You can see it. Can you read it out? Because that then becomes our conclusion under issue number 1.
Yes. It says, in my opinion, because of the significance of the matters discussed in the basis for adverse opinion section of my report, the financial statements do not present fairly the financial position of the County Executive of Baringo as at 30th June 2020 ended in accordance with the International Public Sector Accounting Standards (CAS) basis, and also do not comply with the Public Finance Management Act 2012 under the County 2012. Yeah.
And therefore, we have discussed that with their office, because it's not enough just to say that they do not present fairly. The law allows you to make recommendations. The law allows you to report to the police. The law allows recommendations. The recommendation we are making is to consider invocation of Article 225. The recommendation we are making is disciplinary action on persons with a professional responsibility. Another recommendation we could make would be for the EACC to look at the state of affairs in financial management for that financial year. Governor, what recommendation are you carrying? What action are you taking now that you have seen what you have seen?
Mr. Chairman, I once again would like to say that I'm not going to run away from the responsibility for these accounts. In view of the fact that I became governor in 2022, I will take the responsibility and go and ensure that these things are not repeated again. I will also take action on my officers who have displayed professional negligence, and that should be the case. In the meantime, these accounts must be brought to speed so that it can reflect the correct position in Baringo County. I am sure that it is negligence in accounting. Negligence, I believe that no monies have been lost, and I want to go and verify this information together with my